Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Today's webinar will be about rigging and animating my first character with Moho, presented by Fernando Cobos. Some general rules: this webinar is being recorded. You can send your question and comments using the question panel. We'll try to answer all of your questions in the last 15 minutes. And also, if you register, you will receive an email with the registration, with the recording session, but also please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get a notification once the video is available. The panelists for this webinar are Manuel Quiñones, myself, Victor Paredes, and Fernando Cobos. Also, we invite you to share your Instagram stories, tagging us as #webinar, #mohoanimation, at f.cobos_art, and at mohoanimation. We'll be sharing your stories. Fernando is raised professionally in traditional animation. He started his career in 1998 in his native Madrid, creating traditional animation. After 8 years, he retrained himself as a flash animator, leading him to Barcelona to be part of the animation department in the famous Spanish humor magazine and publishing house El Jueves. He spent 4 years creating animations for TV. In 2012, Fernando moved to the UK, where he studied English and continued learning different creative areas. This led him to a video game company where he created character and environment designs in 2D animation. In 2018, Fernando moved back to Spain to continue working in video games. So with that, I will leave you with Fernando Cobos and his presentation, rigging and animating my first character with Moho. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
All working.
Great. Okay, I'm Fernando Cobos from Spain. And firstly, I want to thank Mario and the Moho team for inviting me here to talk about my first rig and an animation in Moho. So I'm going to give you a little introduction of myself as an animator. Mario said something before, but yeah, I'm gonna say something else. As Mario said, I started my journey in animation over 20 years ago in a little animation studio in Madrid, where I became an animator. So as you can imagine, I work on traditional animation with pencil, paper, and pegs. So we didn't have any amazing softwares like Moho at that time, as far as I knew. But it was a good way to start and learn animation. The good thing about it was that you have to develop not only animation skills, but drawing skills as well. And that has been very useful for my entire career. So mainly I develop animation for TV series, advertising, films, and short films. I spent 8 years there working, and then I moved to another company. So yeah, retraining myself as a flash animator. For me, that was a huge move, as I discovered cutout animation and the possibilities it implies. Then I started learning how to cut out a character to make the most of it in order to get a nice animation. So also that gave me the opportunity to make my own short films, video clips, or etc., whatever. Because in this kind of softwares like Moho, you are able to develop the entire process for telling a story. So after that, I moved to Barcelona, to create animation for a very famous Spanish magazine and publishing house. I spent 4 years creating animation for TV, and I became very interested in graphic humor as well, and in caricatures, which is my other passion. So I'm going to show you something here. So these are some examples of what I did there using the cutout technique with a different software. But here I have to prepare all of the characters for animation, to create the backgrounds. The result is nice, but the effort you make to get that result is, I think, is bigger than in a software like Moho. So what else? In 2012, I wanted a new personal and professional challenge. So I moved to the UK, where I studied English and continue to learn different creative areas like video games. So I joined a video game company for casual games, where I develop animation with Flash, character design, backgrounds, assets, etc. Let me show you something pretty quick. So here we have some examples of what I did at that time, using again the cutout technique, but without having bones in the character yet. So the same done before, moving the assets in order to create the illusion of movement without bone or meshes or anything like that. So it was very handmade, if I can say. And also I created the visual effects for the games as well. So yeah, finally I came back to Spain, continue working in games and learning new animation softwares. I'm gonna show you this one as well. So here, all of these animations were created with a different software, but this time rigging the character with bones, meshes, and other tools. I think it was an advance of what I had done before, definitely, but only with bitmaps, no vectors. So yeah, I think I've been missing animation for TV series or films a lot, and now I'm spending my time catching up with it. Discovering Moho has been great for that. Okay, before to start talking about the rig, there is something I would like to make clear, because I saw other webinars for Moho, and there are so many talented riggers, but I'm not a professional rigger. So as the title of this webinar says, this is my first rig and my first animation with Moho. So I made other rigs with other softwares, and as I showed you before, but they were pretty basic ones, not in a high professional level. So I guess I'm too impatient to wait until I can animate the character. So I have never learned properly how to rig in a high professional way. However, one of the things I like the most is to animate my own characters. When I'm designing them, I'm just thinking how it's going to be animated, the personality, the behavior, the energy, or the lack of energy. So I have to learn at least how to make a basic rig, and I guess this is a small price to pay, isn't it? So again, you are going to see a very simple rig here, and I'm pretty sure that most of you can make a better one. But this is my first rig, and this is about showing my experience with Moho. Okay, I would like to show you first the final animation that brought me here to this webinar, in order to have a fresh idea of what I achieved, what I'm gonna be talking about using the Moho tools. So let's play it here. I hope you can hear properly.
Hi everybody, I'm Rocco, designed and rigged with Moho. I'm gonna show you what I can do, like moving my arms, bending my legs, turning my head and body, and I can dance. Thanks. So, bye.
All right. So, okay, let's start talking about the character design I did for this animation. Gonna show you the character here. So there you go. This is Froho, funny hobbit, ready to be rigged and animated. So I choose a hobbit just because I'm a big fan of the Lord of the Rings. And if you have to create a character for an animation test, I think this is an extra pleasure to add to the experience. I would like to say something here that I learned many years ago. If you want to start learning something, in this case, a new software, I think you should do it little by little. I remember when I created my first test animation, I had the brilliant idea of animating Mickey Mouse. Fortunately, someone clever, a senior animator in that little studio in Madrid, suggested me not to. So start with something simple, otherwise you will struggle a lot, not only with animation, but with the drawing, getting the model accurate, proportions, and everything. I guess that's why the first animation tests are based on a simple ball. So here I make the same mistake once again. So instead of making a simple character like a ball with legs and arms, I chose something a bit more complex for being the first time in a new software. But anyway, it was fun after all. So as I mentioned before, when I was creating this character, I was imagining him in movement, like talking, like jumping, walking, laughing, dancing. So the character was designed with those movements and actions in mind. And I have to confess that I'm a bit obsessed with shapes. I love to play with shapes, like simple ones and effective ones, trying to make them simple, but bold and strong. So here I thought that having just one shape for the head and the body could be a great idea. It worked for me. But then I encountered too many challenges to make it work in the rig. I'm going to show you a couple of different characters I designed time ago with the same principle. So here we have this rabbit. So the head and the body are just one shape. I think it looks brilliant, but for someone like me who is not a professional rigger, it can be a bit complex to achieve a good rig, especially if you want to create uh, nice poses and you don't want to be limited by the rig. Another one I'm going to show you now is this one. So here with this cat is almost the same. Although you see very clear the head and the body, there are linked in the same line, and that can be a little bit tricky if you are not a pro with rigging. And on top of that, if you are working in a new software. So I don't know. I thought about taking one of these characters for making my first animation in Moho, but at the end I decided to create a new one. So maybe one day I will grab one of those and I will read them and make a nice animation because I quite like those designs. So, okay, let's continue with something else. Cleaning up the character. So this is the basics one. So I imported a reference from Photoshop where I designed the character into Moho using some opacity. I trace him. It's a very simple and an easy way to do it. Something I love here in Moho is the brushes. I use this brush. I'm gonna show you here. Yeah, this one. It is quite similar to the one I use in Photoshop for the stroke. Looks like it's not vector at all, but it is. And as you can see, you have a big variety of them to choose. So I think that are pretty cool. Okay, let's make more space for the layers here. So moving to the rig, after talking about the shapes, the head and the body, I'm going to show you how I make the head and the body turn. So let's go to this one. And let's grab this dial. So yes, it moves together. So head and body at the same time, which wasn't my first idea again. I liked the idea of moving the head independently from the body in order to have more options to create nice poses and better body language for this animation, in case you want to have the head turning to the right and the body to the opposite direction. But I couldn't find a good solution for this, and the shapes I mentioned before were not as appealing as I wanted. So anyway, this is what I achieved, and at the end, it worked. I think it worked pretty well for me. So yeah. So as you see here, I use smart bonds to create the head and the body turn. This tool is great because once you make the turning, it's done and recorded in a smart bond. And then animating, you just have to manipulate the dial, and yeah, and it's done. Yeah, that's all. Here I didn't turn the feet as well. So instead, I created different feet poses to use in switch layers. So the same for the hands. Okay, switch layers. Let's move on to switch layers. This is another great tool to use in Moho. As I said before, I use switch layers for feet, for hands, and even for mouths. For feet, I create a reference to make sure that the shapes are correct and then trace them in Moho. So the reference is just here. For whatever reason, I'm not able to remember. I no longer have the sketch I did for the reference. So I just screenshotted the final drawing in Moho just to show you what I mean. So kids, don't do that at home. Keep all of your sketches and reference because you don't know when you are going to need them again. But yeah, I did it. Anyway, it was pretty simple, as you can see. And then I create the extra poses for the feet. Just gonna open this window here. And let's go to this one, for example. So yeah, here we have all different poses. Yeah. So yeah, I create these extra ones, like these ones. Especially when he's walking and we want the feet to have more stretch and squash, more elasticity. So yeah, you notice we have a special window here for switch layers, and there you have a visual representation of the asset you have in your folder. So it's pretty easy to choose the one you want. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But again, I chose switch layers for the feet, but another better option I learned later is creating a smart bond and make a turn for the feet as well. So let me show you an example I have here. So this is my second rig and an animation with Moho right after the Hobbit. So here you can see what I meant before. So this is really handy as you can choose the pose you like and allows you to get them interpolated in case the animations needs it. But for the Hobbit, sorry, I didn't think about that option. I just wanted something simple to test how the character work. But yeah, this is I prefer this one actually. This is really good. Taking advantage from this, here I have the head. We were talking about the head and the body in the same shapes. So here I have the head separated from the body, which is more like the norm actually. So, and here I have the option to move the head and the body independently. So yeah, there should be something like this. Anyway, let's go back to Flojo. For hands, I use an old set of hands I did for a project years ago. So this is the reference for hands. So this is really helpful if you keep this kind of stuff for future projects or test or whatever you are doing. So it's really handy. So the style matches the character for this animation. So why not? I imported the image and I traced them in Moho. And pretty simple, pretty easy. So in case when you are animating the character, the animation requires a new hand that you didn't think of previously, it's pretty simple to add another one. So just go to frame 0 and start creating the new hand. By the way, frame 0, I didn't mention that before, is where you set up your character, where you set the bones, the drawings, and all of the assets you need for your animation. And then from frame 1, you start animating. So let's do a quick example of adding a new hand. Example here. Let's go to these ones. We are gonna duplicate one, call it new. Let's go to a different file where I have the hand already done. I don't want to spend too much time doing this. So let's copy this one and paste it here. For whatever reason, I cannot copy that one. Let me try again. Oh, something is wrong. It's just because we are here, I guess. There you go. And now we can remove the old one and to place the new one in the right position. Something like that. Imagine if you have to animate the character doing something special, for example. So here we have the head, the new one. Oh, sorry. It's not working properly, I guess. Yeah.
Hi, Fernando. Can I jump in?
Yes.
Just a quick explaining. If you go to the sequencer,
Oh, yeah.
you can move the layer back to the.
Oh, yeah.
You can move the whole layer back to the left, and then you can work right on 0.
Yeah. So the whole
Thanks.
layer. Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. This one. Okay. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I don't know if we have the new layer already here. Yeah, but for whatever reason, I cannot find it. But anyway, let's do something here better. Let's go back and let's see if we can play something. Now, let's try last time. Otherwise, I'm gonna move to another thing. So yeah, there you go. Copy this. And it's not moving. Well, again, it doesn't matter. So imagine if you want a new hand. So let's do it in a different way. So imagine if you want this hand to be different, and if you want to have because you didn't think about that hand before. So it's pretty simple, just to create the new hand, duplicating the asset if you need it, and that's all, like this one. That for whatever reason, I don't know why. I know, again, this is why I'm new to Moho. So yeah.
I'm gonna
let's
jump back in. Sorry.
That's all right.
If you click with Alt and on frame 1,
Yep.
you will stretch the timeline.
All right.
Thank you.
That's all right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have the same problem with the sequencer before, and actually I asked before Mario, but I had a problem with that. I don't know what happened, to be honest. But yeah, I think now is working properly, I guess. So I have the new hand, and maybe we can make that little exercise I wanted to make here. So let's try to set the new hand we made for this, which should be somewhere here. Right there. So yeah, in case we want to do something really quick, I'm gonna do it really quick. Something really quick here, like to make a nice pose, and maybe the head a little bit like that, maybe something like this, and we want just to create a nice pose like that. I'm gonna stretch a little bit the arms to make the pose a little bit more extreme. And yeah, we can copy this here, we can copy this here, and maybe just here, just to change something like this. So now we can have this animation, because the Hobbit is ready to listen to Metallica, for example. So yeah, it's just really simple, and you create all of the hands you want for the animation, and you can add more eventually if you need something else to create. So yeah, finally, regarding switch layers, and we have the mouths. Using switch layers, you can make your own mouth set. As I said before, you have this window here. Let's find the mouths. Yeah. So you have a window showing you the mouth you choose, or the one you want. So visually, it's very, very handy, and it makes the lip sync animation more comfortable. But what I discovered, and actually blew up my mind, well, was the option that you have for switch layers, saying if you want to interpolate sublayers. Maybe it's a little detail for some of you, but for me it was amazing to see that when I move from one mouth to the other, the tongue and the teeth move too. So they get animated as well, making the lip sync animation even more real, more appealing. So for example, if we choose something here like that, and here maybe the Hobbit is gonna say something. Here we can hold this one here. We are gonna do something quicker than before, that's for sure. And yeah, maybe we can start opening the mouth here, wide open, and maybe we can hold this one until there, and then here just back to the mouth with this is closed, something like this, right? So we're going to extend this one, and yeah, So the character can do something like this, like saying, "Oh yeah." So you can see that the tongue and the teeth, the lower teeth, is moving as well, is getting animated as well. So yeah, I think it's pretty awesome because the result is really nice for lip sync. And again, it's really easy, and you can see it here. You have the visual representation of every mouth, and I think looks pretty good. Another thing I did here is to create a smart bond for smiling to sad. So instead of making another whole set of mouths, sad or angry, I mean, with a different expression, this way is great. It's very simple and very effective, and also allows you to get a neutral one too. So just right in the middle of the dial. So for example, here you see, just moving the dial, you get from happy to sad, and you can get a neutral one just in the middle here. So yeah, I think is pretty cool. So yeah, and you don't have to change from one expression to another roughly. It gets interpolated too, and yeah, I think it's great. I was very happy with the result for the lip sync, and it didn't take me that much to get it. So yeah, let's move to other things to talk about here. Yeah, audio recording, for example. So talking about the lip sync, we can talk about the audio recording. Another great thing I found with Moho is that you are able to record your own audio for your animation. So if what you like is to create an acting, this is a great tool for that. So you don't have to go to different software to record an audio that you are going to use in your animation in Moho. So it's again very easy to use and allows you to manipulate the audio as you wish. So here is the window, and yeah, you can shift the pitch from high to low. I don't know. You can create something very funny here, even if you are not funny at all. No worries. So this tool fix it for you. So yeah, that's how I created the audio for this animation. Okay, going back to the rig. Well, the general rig is quite standard, as I said before. Bones for the limbs and head and body. One for the head here. Let's go here better. And for the body, we have a couple of them just to have more flexibility. One main bone for to move the whole character. I created as well smart bones for pupils, like going left to right or up and down. Also for blinking with two different expressions, one more relaxed than the other, like this one and this one. So yeah, you can create a big set of expressions if you like with smart bones. I created as well a smart bone for stretch and squash. You can see here. So it's applied to the whole character, but the legs and feet. So yeah, you can do it just for the head or only for the eyes or whatever you like. But this is really helpful when you are animating and you consider like in certain pose you need a squash to make it a little more extreme. So to have the smart bone here is pretty handy. So yeah, yeah, and of course I almost forgot it. An IK, an inverse kinematic. So using target bones. If you want to animate a character walking, jumping, or moving in general in a full shot, where you see the whole character, you need to create an AK. I mean, at least for me, is very important. I have to say that I found a bit complex to create an AK in other softwares, but here in Moho is really simple. using bone constraints and target bones, and that's all. So, and then you enable independent angle for the foot bone. So here, and then here you have the foot to move it independently, and yeah, and I think it's really cool. It's really great. So yeah, both feet are standing on the floor in this case. Another cool thing is the option for stretching the legs when you are using the UK. So the IK, sorry. This option makes the character very, very cartoony and allows you to get a bit range of nice and expressive poses. So like I did before, if you want to stretch it like this, stretch it like that. So I think it's really cool. It's really fun. So yeah. What else I use here? Dynamic bonds. Dynamic bonds. I think is another cool feature in Moho. I'm going to show you an example of dynamic bonds I use for this character. This one is going to be really, really simple. So here we are going to move the character like that. Now to the right, and then back to the left. Let's make seeing this out. It's more appealing movement. And yeah, what can I say here? I think this is really awesome. So I created just a couple of bonds for the Hobbit hair to use them as dynamic bonds. And the result, at least for me, is amazing. So the time you save just adjusting some parameters is unbelievable. And this is the result, and I love it. So I never used physics before in other softwares, even knowing that the software I use in my previous job implement them recently in the last version. But the way you can do it here, again, is very, very easy. It doesn't require a big knowledge, and the interface is not complex, just 3 parameters to play with, and then you can get the look you want. So again, this option saves you a lot of time when you are animating and allows you to be focused on the main animation. So it's pretty cool. An interesting note to add is that I always thought that when you design a character, if you add some elements like clothes, long hair, locks, ornaments, something that the character wears or just the character has, it's going to add a lot to the animation because it's going to be applying one of the 12 principles of animation, like overlapping and follow through. And here with this tool, the dynamic bonds, I think Moho make it easier and nicer. So yeah, what else we can talk about here? Actions, yeah, another great tool here in Moho is actions. So I use actions for bending the arms and the legs. So this is really good because you can fix some ugly shapes the vectors get when you push the arms or the legs too much. So like that again, you don't have to fix the vector when you are animating, and you go faster and more efficient. And make sure that the pose is nice and appealing. So I use them here for the arms, just selecting the bone you are going to move, and that allows you to create 2 actions per bone. So in this case, for bending the arm to the left and then to the right. And here as well for the legs. So again, this is a simple rig. I know there are other ways to rig arms and legs more complex and more professional, but for starting, I am pretty happy with that. And even if your animation doesn't require too much, so I think this way is perfect. I also use an action to create. Let's open the action window. Yeah, I create an action for a walk cycle. So this one here. Oops. It looks a little bit broken. Now it's okay. So this is very beneficial if you are going to use a specific animation more than one time. I mean, if you are going to reuse animation in general. So I created an action and there I make a walk cycle for this character. So here you can make the animation you wish, and then you can implement it in whenever you want in the timeline. Yeah, I made a standard walk cycle, but for the main animation, I changed the eyes to be closed, and because he's whistling, I had to choose a mouth to fit better. So yeah, this is another great thing we have here in Moho. I found it really, really useful and really handy. So yeah, to sum up, I think for a professional animator, I think Moho is really good because makes the whole animation process quite smooth and fast, if you like. Even with a pretty basic trick I did here, to make nice and appealing poses was easy and fun. So for rigging, it was great too, because I find Moho a very intuitive software. It's quite easy to get nice things done here. I don't know, I remember working many years with other softwares where I didn't have the option of creating bones. Just a simple head turn took ages, as you have to move all of the elements inside the face one by one every time you wanted to turn the head. So, and that is just an example. So I think it's pretty cool. Something else in the timeline, I found very handy options for getting your timing, linear, is in, is out, but also you can go to to the graph editor, and in case you want to be more accurate and precise setting the timing in your animation, and we have the Bezier options, and there you can polish your timing properly. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, we can close this presentation, and I will show you one last time the result, applying all of the tools I used to create this. So let's see one last time what I achieve after explaining all of this.
Hi everybody, I'm Rocco, designed and rigged with Moho. I'm gonna show you what I can do, like moving my arms, bending my legs, turning my head and body, and I can dance. So, bye.
There you go. So the idea at the end was to create a character where the character himself shows the audience what he's able to do because of his rig. And that's why he's walking, he's bending arms and legs, he's turning his head and body, he's talking to show you the lip sync, he's using several hand poses to show you the switch layers. And of course, he's a hobbit, so he has to dance sooner or later. So yeah, I think that's all, folks. So hope you found my first experience with Moho interesting. There are still a lot of tools I'm looking forward to discovering here in Moho, like playing with the camera, like Vitruvian bones, rigging bitmap characters using meshes, and I hope to show you in the future if I can. So yeah, Mario, if you are ready, I am ready too for Q&A time.
Well, thank you so much, Fernando, for this amazing webinar. We really loved it. So thank you.
Pleasure.
Also, we asked at the beginning from where are you watching us today. So we want to say thanks to Jay from Glasgow, UK, Ivan from Mexico, Draymond Jacksonville, Scott is up really late from Japan. Who else? Malaysia. Hainin also quite late. Saudi Arabia, Amal, Cynthia, I saw her from the US, Brian, California. So thank all of you who joined us live. And for those of you who are really late, thank you so much. So let's get with some questions. There are a lot of questions, so thank you guys. This one is from Brian. He said, how long did it take you to rig Froho?
Oof, I mean, uh, if you compare with a professional rigger, quite a lot. So yeah, it took me quite some time. Firstly, when I bought the software, the first thing I did, obviously, was to watch all of the tutorials the software provides, and they are really good. They are really handy and well explained. And after that, it was just too excited, like saying, I want to make something here, and I want to make an animation, and I was thinking about the idea. So why not just create a character who is actually saying what he's able to do? And I start little by little. So once I have the character already drawn in Moho, I was starting rigging the head, rigging the arms, and seeing if something is broken. And then the inverse kinematic, fortunately, is really easy to make, but yeah, I was trying things and making mistakes and trying again. So I cannot tell you like 3 days, a week, or 20 hours. So, but probably it took me more than a week, obviously, because I was watching tutorials and all of that stuff. Because Moho is pretty new. It's still pretty new for me. So I have to get familiar with all of the tools you have here, and also as I said before, I'm not really familiar with rig in a very professional way, so I have to watch many tutorials and things in order to create something at least a little bit nice and that allowed me to animate the character. So yeah, I don't have a figure, but probably more than a week. Yeah. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yes, for sure. Sorry, I was struggling. There's so many questions. Thank you,
All right.
guys. Let's see. Well, thank you, Anna from Chile and Canada, Paul, USA, Fernando. Another question is from Anna. She has a quite big question, but it's quite interesting. Regarding the dynamic bones, also she loved the character. Are they like to add a secondary action, but the software recognizes the movement and add the secondary action? Or do you use always physics and space to do this secondary action? How do you plan this?
I mean, this time, because I learned that Moho had these dynamic bonds, I thought about that especially. It's like, okay, I'm going to apply this dynamic bond somewhere in my character. So having this big hair that the Hobbit has, I think was pretty obvious. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make the hair, because his clothes are pretty tight to his body, and he's not wearing anything else like to make like overlapping and follow through, and even like she said, secondary actions. So in this case, it's just like to play with the hair, and that is how I planned to use dynamic bonds. And as I explained before, you don't have to worry about anything, because you can be focused on your the main animation for your character, and then applying some parameters. The hair moves really good, and is really, you know, is really real. Is if I can say that, is really amazing. So yeah, in this case, yeah, you can call it secondary actions, but it's just like more getting overlapping a part of your character when he has to drag something. In this case, is the hair. When he's moving too fast to the left, the hair is dragging from that original place, and then to react and getting back to the original place, and that movement, I think is really good. So yeah, I when I saw the tool, I thought I need to use this for something. So I decided to use it for the hair, and I was really happy with that.
Another question from, let's see, Highlight is asking, can it make a 360 turn around with bones rigging?
360 turn around. I'm pretty sure you can. I actually saw some videos there on YouTube, like some good riggers can make a 360. I don't have the knowledge of the rigging knowledge yet to make something like this. That could be pretty cool. I guess you can do it, and you can set a character with a 360, and you can use it for many different shots, and that could be great. But I mean, for starting for myself, I think that was pretty big challenge for me. So even if I choose a not really easy character in some ways, but I have to put limits to myself. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna turn his head and his body, but until the side view, I cannot make something else, because again, it's just not because the software cannot make it. It's just because I don't have the knowledge. Again, this is my first rig, and my first encounter with Moho. So, but I'm pretty sure you can do it, of course.
Mm-hmm. And another question is regarding keeping the anatomy of the body of the character. I know you work with a model sheet. Is it something that you recommend to do it? How do you keep this volumetric when you're doing these smart bones?
Yeah, what I said before is when I choose to do this character, it was pretty tricky just to have the same shape for the head and for the body. And when he's in the side view, you see we have like a stream curve here, and it's, for me, it describes a lot, and it's a really powerful line. So when I was creating the rig, as I said before, that could be great if you can turn just the body and not the head, or the other way around. So, but this shape, I couldn't get this shape as I wanted. So yeah, I mean, I try to be accurate to the original model, but sometimes when you are rigging and cleaning up your characters, and maybe when you are setting the bones, sometimes you have to change your mind, or go to a different path, or just think in a different way, because probably it's not working what you had in mind before. So yeah, sometimes I try to be accurate, and sometimes I manage to be accurate, but sometimes I have to change my mind and do something different. But in this case, I mean, I was pretty happy because it's quite uh, accurate from the original one, and so yeah, I was happy with that.
Mm-hmm. And another question is if you use animatics when you are planning the shot or the movement of the character.
I mean, that would be the ideal thing to do. Obviously, if you are in a real production, you have to animate a shot where the character says something, or is doing something, or is jumping, or is arguing with someone else. You need an animatic, yes, especially because the animatic is pretty cool, because you see the timing, and you see, and you have more clear in your mind how long should take you this pose, or this action, or just to to separate the actions in one shot. This time I didn't do it. This was my exercise. It was my first exercise with Moho, so I didn't plan that properly, the animation. I had the idea of, the character has to walk, the character has to talk to see the lip sync, the character has to turn his head and his body to see how cool it looks. But I think I was pretty straightforward. So I didn't make any storyboard or any thumbnails or any animatic. I was just playing by ear sometimes and getting straight to the final result. So yeah, but I think you should do it. I think you should do it.
You did it, amazing.
Thank you.
Especially because it comes right up from your mind and right straight to Moho to animate the character. And also here's an interesting question from Robert Domingo. This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing great animation and design. I'm really new to Moho. I'm from LA, USA. Could you talk about how you rig the head separately from the body? Did you?
Uh, I tried. I tried. That was one of the things I had. I said before, I had to change the path to change my mind. I tried before. Again, we have different bones here for the head and for the body, obviously. So the head is here and the body is here. But I tried to make with a smart bone to turn the head but not the body. I tried, but again, the result I got, especially for the shape, uh, I didn't like it. So yes, I just removed that idea from my mind. But I guess in the future, if I'm still working with Moho and still rigging things and learning more things, because there are a lot of things I have to learn here, probably I'm going to be able to make something nicer. But what I achieved, I didn't like it. So that's why I did it in this way. Again, I'm pretty sure, like a professional rigger or not a professional, someone clever than me doing rigs can make it easily and really effective, but I couldn't find the solution. And again, it's just like when I'm starting learning a new software and you have like a little project like this one, I don't want to get stuck too long trying to solve something because I can get tired and bored and I prefer just to move forward. If something like this, I'm struggling a lot with something, I want just to jump on the next thing and forget it and try to see other options we have here. So, but I'm pretty sure you can do it, obviously.
And another repeated question was about making firstly a bitmap character and then tracing back as vector in Moho. Was that a decision you made? Was part of the learning process? Can you share with us about it?
Yeah, what I wanted to do in Moho is just to rig the character and to animate the character. But for designing the character, like properly, like start drawing a sketch in the character, I mean, I'm more comfortable with other softwares because like Photoshop. So I prefer just to sketch there and try to get some ideas and at the end to get the final result. And again, because I don't want to spend too much time, but because what I want from Moho or what I was attracted by Moho was other things, was like rigging and animated. So I didn't want to spend too much time thinking about how to sketch here in Moho or something. So I prefer just to do it in Photoshop because it's faster for me and I'm more comfortable sketching in other softwares, like even in paper and pencil. I'm still using pencil and paper. So yeah, I just plan it like this. I just want to be focused on Moho, on animation and rigging. So that's why I did it.
And another question is if you have an animation from that Batman character that you shared.
Of course, I have it. I don't know if we have time to see it, but I can show you the animation, of course.
Mhm.
Do you think, Mario, we have time to show the animation?
Yes, yes. And then we go with one last question, but let's see the Batman.
Okay, let's go here, Batman, and I think it's this one. So yeah. There you go. That's all.
Awesome.
I
So that's the
had so
official,
much fun.
and that's the official number 2 animation made the Moho, right?
Exactly. That is the number 2. That is the number 2.
Well, thank you for sharing it, Fernando. And
My
we'll
pleasure.
go with the last question from Rob, which is really interesting, Rob Seigler. Question for Fernando. Now that he's finished his rig, what is the one thing he's learned that will help him the most on his next project?
Yeah, probably the structure of the rig, like just to to set properly the bones in the right place, and using the IK, all of that stuff, and using, like I said before, in this case, I use switch layers for the feet, but I learned after that with that Batman animation that I prefer the option of having a smart bone to to turn the feet. So this is something like I'm learning. Like now I'm choosing. I mean, for this Hobbit, I chose this option to make the feet. So probably in the next one, I'm gonna choose something different because I'm learning a little bit more. And what is really complex for me at the beginning, so probably at the end, I mean, in the future, in a few days, it's gonna be easier, a little bit easier. So it's just to choose. Probably what I'm learning here more is just, or the most, is just to choose what I'm gonna apply for the eyes. I'm gonna apply smart bond. I'm gonna apply switch layers for the eyebrows. So probably this is just what is gonna make the most when I'm rigging the character. So yeah, this was the first time I did it, and I made some decisions, and now probably in the second one I'm gonna make different decisions. Not just because it's not working, it's just because I want to try make different options, because I want to explore the software as well. And then probably if I did it in 3 different ways, probably I'm gonna be more able to know which is the best one, or what is the best one for the character I'm doing at that moment.
Well, thank you so much for those wise words, Fernando. Many of you are sending a lot of greeting, and for example, Robert says, thank you for putting this webinar together. Vishal says, thanks for the session. So we also want to thank you for joining us live. And before we go, we want to share one last bit of information. So the future is 2D. Moho is a powerful 2D animation software that combines the most powerful animation technology with state-of-the-art professional animation tools. Draw, rig, and animate easily. You can create your characters directly in Moho with these vector tools optimized for animation, or import images or Photoshop files, keeping the link and layering structure. For more information, visit mohoanimation.com. And also, we want to invite you to visit our website. Many of you ask, where can I learn about Moho? And if you check on the add-ons tab, you will see the free course that we have there. You can download it for free. You can watch it also on YouTube. So it's a series of 38 tutorials where you will learn quickly the basics of the software, but also from basic to really advanced rigging and other Moho tools. So also we invite you to participate actively in our social media. Follow us as Moho Animation on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter or X, Facebook, TikTok, and also join our communities, which are very active. You can ask questions. The community will be really helpful for any of your doubts on Discord and our forum. And also for more information about Fernando, follow him on Instagram at f.cobos_art or his art station, Fernando_Cobos. This webinar has been recorded, so follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the recording. So once again, thank you so much, Fernando.
Thank you for having me here. It was a real pleasure.
We really enjoyed it. So also thank all of you who joined us live, and stay tuned for more webinars and information and tutorials about Moho. So stay tuned. See you on our next event. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.